Hey everybody, it's Sean here from Worldwide Red Show. You know what to do if you're new around here. Like, subscribe, get involved. Listen, guys, I know this is not the ideal situation right now, even for me to go live. I'm in my new, well, it's going to be eventually a new studio setup, but I haven't been doing live streams because, one, I don't feel like the studio and situation is ready. I don't have the right chairs or anything. I'm actually in one of my theater chairs right now, so if I move at all, you're going to hear everything. But no, that's why I've been just getting back into streaming, back into YouTube, and throwing out the videos after each Manchester United reaction, after every match day reaction. I wanted to go live today because there's so much going on. I didn't want to shoot a video earlier because I was absolutely fuming at the result. Once again, the 1-0 at Aston Villa really was a poor performance, poor all the way around. No defending it once again, no defending our some of our players, no defending our manager. And I just want to take a few moments to talk about, the manager and what's going on at United, and just give a little background because a lot of people that know me are like, oh man, you're Ollie out, you're Ollie out. And I guess theoretically you'd say that because I was never technically Ollie in, because even when he was interim manager, I felt like it was not the right appointment. I mean, the feel-good factor was there. The 4-3-3, we were flying. I just felt like we should have waited to the end of the season. That was premature. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done a lot of great things at the club, especially bringing that feel-good factor back on, bringing it back to United. We all remember the atmosphere was very toxic with Jose Mourinho. It was just ugly around there. Yeah, guys, thanks for jumping in. I see Rich. I see Footy Live. Good to see you. Jamie, good to see you guys. Rich, I was actually going to send you a link to this stream since I'm getting back to streaming again, just to make sure I remembered how to do it and could do it right. But you joining me tomorrow, bro. I am going to try, do my best to jump in tomorrow. But it's just good to see you guys again. Like I said, I've been struggling a little bit with getting back to streaming because I don't have really a setup for it yet. And there's just been a lot of craziness. My kids are playing constantly. We had a couple big matches today. One of them ended up with kids fighting. It was craziness out here in Texas. The heat really gets to people, I guess. But anyway, let's get back to the match. Ollie's done some great things, so I don't ever want to come out and be like, the reason I don't say I'm like Ollie out or like ultra Ollie in is because I feel like the debate has gotten very toxic and people don't really use common sense. Or I've learned one thing, guys, from streaming and from diving into this amazing sport that over here in the States we call soccer. I know it's called football. I get it before any of you have a meltdown. I love the game. I love the sport. I've had to dive into it. I've had to learn so much stuff about the game. I actually have coached and have been a coach, so I have to tactically get involved in the game. Gee, what's up, RDS? Good to see you. Live stream. Yes, I'm working on it. I'm brand new to this a little bit, but we're working. I'll send you guys all a link so we can do it properly and officially here soon. Like I said, I'm not even in my actual studio yet. But, when I think of Ollie, G actually used to say it this way. He was Ollie Doubt. For me, it's always been, I've never really been like Ollie in, but I've never been like toxic Ollie out where people just, right now, people are so far on one side or the other of the debate that there's no real common sense. And a lot of times people's arguments aren't based around football or tactics. And really it becomes agendas. It's their agenda and being right over what they're seeing on the pitch. Now, Rich will tell you, he's in the comments, that I've been saying the same things for well over a year, if not 2 years, concerning Ole. And that's why I'm not too overly fussed. I'm not angry. I was really, really irritated earlier, but I didn't really have a complete meltdown because this is to be expected, right? Ole said it himself. So here's the thing. I've had people tell me, you know what, Sean, Ole's going to prove you wrong. There's absolutely zero chance, zero ways that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can prove me wrong. There's none. Because everything I've said and that we've seen, not only has it happened, right, but he actually even admits these things himself. If you just listen to his press conferences, they don't do him any favor. So like in his press conferences of late, he said things like, listen, what do you say? How do you say it? He's like, 6, 8. He starts naming numbers. He's like, this stuff kind of doesn't matter to me. To me, it's just numbers. What I'm looking for is guys that can just play in the midfield and play any position. Guys that want to win. So let me explain what he's really saying. Like champions, right? What all he's really saying is that he's stuck in 90s and early 2000s, especially 80s and 90s football, right? Blood, thunder, passion, running, knee slides, kissing the badge, and where that's the most important thing. So I can appreciate that because I grew up during that time. And not only did I play sports in that era, it actually goes back to the whole debate about LeBron and Michael Jordan, right? People always say, could LeBron play during Michael Jordan's era? Well, we won't know because we can't send him back in time and let him play in a time where people would literally destroy you on your way to the basket. Where the NBA now, if someone touches you, oh my goodness, if it's close to touching you, it's a foul, especially if they touch King James. So here's the thing. We don't know, but the problem, Ollie, when he talks like this, the game has evolved, right? The game has changed. It has evolved. And it's okay that Ollie is not a tactical wizard. We've already laid this to bear to everybody, right? Tactically, many times, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not a world-class manager. I don't think even the most staunch Ollie inners, right, that love Ollie more than the club, you know who you are, you could not deny the guy does baffling things tactically. He don't have to be tactically world-class, but he needs tactically world-class coaches because Ollie said himself he doesn't take training, right? So let's look at some of the coaches. You have Mick Phelan, who arguably, from what I hear, isn't much of a coach anyway. But let's say he was. Mick Phelan is arguably the worst assistant that Sir Alex ever had. What has Mick Phelan done in his career in the Premier League? Only relegated Hull. Then you have Michael Carrick, who's done absolutely nothing to deserve where he's at as a coach. Great player, undervalued player, in my opinion. Michael Carrick was an amazing midfielder. What has he done to earn where he is? Don't know. If he was so amazing, Jose would have took him with him. Kieran McKenna had success in the youth level, but youth football and big boy football is a different situation, right? Then they brought in a set piece coach, one of Kieran McKenna's old buddies from school, Jobs for the Boys, Mate Rates FC. It's just how it goes, right? So my thing is, Ollie needs to make changes that affect what's happening on the pitch. And listen, I already know all the excuses everyone are loading. We don't have a CDM. So now it's all about the CDM that we didn't get, which, by the way, the club did not want. If you listen to Fabrizio Romano and people that really are in the know, Manchester United were not in for a midfielder. Why? Because Ollie, he is stubborn and he persists with Fred and McTominay. Here's the thing. Fred and McTominay, guys, I cannot believe we're playing a double pivot in front of Champions League Varane, who has mad pace, right? And we still persist with this midfield. It baffles the mind. Did you see Scott McTominay in the match today? Was he there? I don't know. I think in the first half, I saw he had like 13 touches of the ball as a midfielder. Guys, the fact is Fred has been horrendous, and he was still better than Scott today. Fred has been abysmal. Why doesn't Donnie get a chance? Donnie played during the midweek in a horrible situation to watch, but let's face it, Donnie was one of the best players during the midweek. Yes, he could have done a little better for the first goal because ultimately he lost some positional awareness by trying to make up some space because Alex Telles got absolutely skunned. The fact is, guys, let me see what some of you are saying real quick. It's good to see you. Hey, Rakani, how are you doing, sir? Haven't seen you in a while. Rakani would enjoy this. I said that the reason Pastor Fred gets to play so much is because he must have led Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to Jesus Christ. And so because of that, the Lord will make ways out of no ways. The Lord can do amazing things. Will you not believe it? And the fact is, because Ollie must have given his life to Jesus, maybe that's why Fred gets to play all the time. I don't know. My man G knows what's up. RDS, Red Devil Studio. Good to see you, man. Good to see everyone. Rich is in the building. Rich is talking about stuff here that we don't want to discuss. He's talking about City looking impressive. We're not into that, Rich. We're good here. Of course, Rich is spot on here. Different excuses, same results. We will definitely have more of these excuses because, listen, guys, my fear with Ollie is that he wouldn't change, and he hasn't. right? This is what kills me with football Twitter and people crying, all these overreactions. It's only been 5 or 6 games and all the stuff people say. Guys, we've been seeing the same thing for over 2.5 years. I said the guy, one, shouldn't have got the job permanently, but he did. So what? We all back him. We're all excited. After Burnley away before lockdown, sorry. Adios. Hasta nunca. You got to go, right? But we kept him. Okay. Fans went crazy, started doing ridiculous stuff, showed up at Ed Woodward's house trying to burn the place down. What happens? They signed Bruno. Bruno injected life into this, into this side and kept Ollie up, kept Ollie in a job. Now, here's the underrated thing, in my opinion, that really messed up Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Jack Grealish, on the last day of the season, single-handedly drags Villa from relegation into the Premier League by getting a result. That skewered his move to Manchester United because the Glazers weren't about to spend $80 million on Jack Grealish. They wanted to get him for 50, right? They don't get him for 50. Edwin van der Sar hooks us up with a potentially young world-class midfielder named Donny van de Beek, wanted by Barcelona and Real Madrid. And Ollie has, if you think Ollie has treated Donny van de Beek fairly, you have an agenda. You have an agenda, period. If Ollie treated Van de Beek fairly, right? If Ollie was even treated Jadon fairly so far, how in the world does Fred and McTominay persist getting matches, persist getting games? Fred has been bad every match pretty much this season. Let's just say he hasn't pulled up trees or did well. Donny showed more in one match last week than what I've seen from Fred this year. Why doesn't he get a run in the team? He doesn't. It is ridiculous. The stuff that we have, literally, arguably the best midfielder on the planet playing in the left wing, because we refuse to play a formation that's better suited to the personnel that we have. We still persist with a double pivot to protect the back. Ollie is literally hanging himself, but it won't change anything. It won't change because the Glazers love this guy. He is gold. So any of you who are ultra Ollie out that get all worked up and freak out and get all angry, the man is not going anywhere for 2 reasons. One, Old Trafford will never turn on him. And people are like, wow, people in the ground know what's up. That's fine. But I've been to Old Trafford. I've been to a lot of sporting events. And half the people in the ground have been drinking since the morning. And they don't know. They wouldn't know. They couldn't find water if they fell out of a boat. I mean, some people, just because you go to matches, 1, doesn't give you a divine right to make you a better fan than anybody else. But 2, surely doesn't mean you have any clue what is really happening in a football match, right? All you need to do is come with me next weekend. I go to a bunch of games. I go to youth games. I go to professional matches, and you will hear some of the most ridiculous, opinions that you could ever imagine. Here's the thing, and let's look what G is saying. I love this point. He's saying, I've noticed, though, that with CR7 up front, we don't seem to counter as smooth as we do. That might be because Rashford is out. I think the thing is, one of the reasons is, 1, you're not going to have Cristiano working as hard as other number 9s. Cristiano is there for one reason, and that one reason is to score goals, period. It's just the thing that's amazing to me, right? Let's go back to Ollie for a second, because the guy literally has driven me crazy this week with his press conferences. I wish people would literally tell him what to say and not to say. Not only does he say, he kind of bashes the modern game. He then says, when asked about low blocks, that, we're not a team that breaks down low blocks. I literally almost fell out of my chair. Like, what do you think Manchester United are going to face 75% of the time they step on the pitch, a low block? And listen to what Ollie said. This is our manager, right? Whether you're Ollie in or Ollie out, he's our manager. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, we're not one of those teams that's going to spam crosses into the box. Now, let me ask you a question. I don't assume everyone on here is coached. How do you break down a low block? I can tell you how you don't break down a low block. By spamming crosses into the box. Because a low block is when teams put 8 to 9 men behind the ball. They're letting you have it. They're going to play solid defense. If anything, they're expecting you to cross the ball. That's not why That's not how you break down a low block. You break down low blocks by moving the ball quickly. I was watching the match in Spanish today because I'm really working on becoming fluent. And the person who was speaking said, I cannot believe how slow Manchester United moved the ball. Now, obviously, this guy has an agenda. Obviously, he just hates Ole and hates Manchester United, because that's typically what it is. This commentator, a Spanish person who probably does most of the Liga MX games here in America and Mexico, is talking about how slow we move the ball because our midfielders recycle the ball so slow. Scott it's so slow. Fred, if he can even control it with his first touch, slow. We move the ball too slow to break down these teams. And here's the other thing that kills me. The lack of changes, right? The fact is, and listen, I've seen the chart floating around football Twitter. A guy that I think I may have met him through Rich. He's from Texas here. He posted something with one of those kind of smart comments that a lot of people make defending their position, whether they're for the manager or against them. And they try to use stats to do it, right? Because stats don't always back up what's happening, right? A player, for example, can play crap for 89 minutes and score a goal. And we're like, wow, did you see his GA? His GA is amazing. He scores every game. Well, you know what? If he plays good for 2 minutes and is crap for 88, it doesn't matter to me that he scores one goal, right? It's just kind of frustrating. People always use stats. And people are using this stat that last year United scored so many goals from substitutes, not considering, the outliers, the games where, for example, against Southampton, when Cavani gets brought on at halftime because we're doing nothing and he scores multiple goals, gets an assist. We don't consider like the one games that really boosted that. We can people literally can watch what happened in the Europa League final last year and still argue that we make good substitutions and we make substitutions we could. Here's another thing. We don't make tactical changes. We don't rarely change the shape. And most of all these subs are like for like, right? It's so frustrating. So, here's the thing. I was watching this week. I know a lot of United fans, because I used to be a big Poch guy. That's who I wanted when Jose was in charge. But now Poch just went to the poison chalice that's PSG, ruined his own career with that. So he's tainted goods. But let me say this. Last week, I saw this video going around football Twitter about Poch pulling out Messi. So I was like, what is this? And I went and watched it. And I almost fell out of my chair. This guy pulls out arguably the greatest player in the history of the game, right? Now, people say, well, he did it because of an injury. Okay, whatever. Messi surely didn't look injured. Messi wasn't very happy about the situation. He pulls him out when they need a goal and replaces him with Hakimi, who is not a like-for-like. He actually replaced him with a fullback, but he was playing him as a winger. Changed the shape, changed the system, and they actually won the match, right? That, my friend, took some cojones to do that. This is my problem with Ole. Would Ole ever make that sub? No. And listen, I want nothing more than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be the greatest manager in the history of the world. I want nothing more than the romanticism of seeing Ole win everything. But guys, I'm telling you, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I've watched it for years. I've tried to not be overly critical, overly toxic, nasty. I go in streams with people that say things and like they bash people, and it is what it is. Matter of fact, I went on Rich's stream one time and a guy jumped in and was like all trying to defend Ole. And it's so funny because I think now he does a lot with G and with, I think he still does stuff with Rich as well. But he came in trying to like talk over me and whatever. And I was like, I ain't about to argue with this dude. And it's so funny because I was listening to some of his streams of late. And now he seems to be turning. And I'm like, yeah, so I guess she wasn't right when he was acting all ridiculous, defending, the position you're taking with Ole with the Glazers. It made no sense. Why Ole is a great manager for the Glazers is because the fans at Old Trafford will never turn on him. He is a good buffer zone between the Glazers and the fans. And the fact is, it is what it is. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will always, with this squad, get us top four. Listen, I'm telling you right now, Humpty Dumpty could fall off the wall, jump up with a crack still in his shell, and get us top four. That's how good our squad is. And the thing that bugs me is that other fans They laugh at us. Neutrals laugh at us because they know they want the guy to stay. The fact is, I don't know who we replace him with. I really don't. So I'm not like, Ollie out, get him the freak out of my club. The guy is a waste man. And he's this and he's that. That a lot of guys do that because you see it on football Twitter. There's people that have come out of nowhere. Now they got like 10,000 followers because they rant and rave that crazy. It is what it is. It's just one of those frustrating things, guys, that ultimately the match today was horrible. The first half wasn't overly bad. I still felt like the best chances fell to Villa. They were playing at home, and it's just a shambles. To see, and I'll be honest with you, I tweeted right before the game ended. I was so angry. And then all of a sudden the penalty happens, and I'm tweeting again, let's go Penendez. I haven't even went back on Twitter to see. I don't even want to look. And then to see Bruno, I mean, absolutely throw up all over himself on that PK. That's the Ronaldo effect. I think that him taking the penalties from Ronaldo, I think Bruno is like, oh, bro, like, oh, that was bad. No hop, skipping, nothing. Just kicked the ball all the way to Salford. I mean, it was, but to be honest with you guys, I was gutted. I literally just turned off the TV and walked out the door. But I'll be honest with you, we deserved that. We did not deserve to win that match. That would have been a smash and grab. We did not deserve that win. We were poor. And guys, I'll tell you, I don't know about you. I'm going to respect everybody I stream with and I go on and streams with and all that, but I will not defend this manager anymore because I've learned something as a man in my old profession before I've moved, and now I'm trying to do new things in life. I was not always to blame when I used to be a CEO of a smaller nonprofit organization, and I wasn't always to blame, but I was responsible. There were times that people on my team, my staff, did things that I wouldn't have approved of it. I wouldn't have done it. It annoyed me, but when it came public and it hit, I had to take responsibility as a leader. And that's why now, for me, all of the responsibility goes to Ollie. And honestly, I'm not going to be nasty about it because I love the guy. And when he does good and when we do well, I'm going to praise him and celebrate. But there is absolutely nothing. I think Rich even asked me this. Was there anything he could do? I was sure then. I'm 1,000% sure there. There's nothing he can do to make me say, I'm Ollie in, so to speak. No. I don't care if we run the table and win everything there is to win. I will clap. I'll celebrate. I will praise the Lord. But I am not about to change what I've seen because it's been too long of a track record, right? So I'm not gonna be the toxic guy or any of that. But ultimately, guys, I'm just frustrated, man. My heart is broken, and it's just one of those things where. What do you guys think? I mean, you that are in the stream, do you think that we're going to, do you think we're going to do well this week? What do you guys guess for the Champions League? Rich says we haven't played well since Leeds. Again, that's an anomaly because it's Leeds. Look how they play. They play too open. They are perfect for us. Matter of fact, the two games that Scott McTominay has played, I can think of 4 games that Scott McTominay has played in where I felt he was phenomenal. 2 were against Leeds, right? Another one was against Liverpool and another one was against City. But there were 2 against Leeds where he was spectacular. But it's because because of how we're allowed to play against them. And guys. It is crazy out here. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think we're going to progress? I mean, at this point, do you think – I can tell you like this. If we play the way we've been playing, we will not progress out of the group. And can you imagine Cristiano Ronaldo, CR7, sweet, all that in the Europa League? I'm going to say this the way that you guys say it in England, right? Are you taking the piss? Cristiano Ronaldo in the Europa League. I don't know what else to say. It can't happen, can it? Like someone tell me it can't happen. This cannot happen. You know, we have an amazing squad. We have more than enough to really put every team in the Premier League, say Chelsea, City, Liverpool. Besides those three, we have everything to literally put every team to the sword. But look how we play. It is embarrassing, guys. It's embarrassing. And you know the funny thing, people keep telling me, well, you know what? Look at what's happened. We progressed every year. We got second. I cannot believe that people actually count last season. Last season, there was no fans in the ground for one. A whole different game, right? Now, again, everyone had to deal with it. But also remember, last season, the Ben Dippers at one point had their third-rated defensive midfielder, right, trying to play center back. They had everyone hurt. If Liverpool didn't have injuries last year, we don't finish above them. You know, Chelsea, if they brought in Tuchel earlier, we don't finish above them. I'm telling you right now, that was listen, pundits said it and people threw stones. They said it was a false position, and they were right. How many games last year ended 0-0? People literally bragged and were excited over this haven't lost away run, as if that is, you get a trophy for that. Can I explain something to you? Last year, Manchester City lost games on the road, and they still had more road points than Manchester United, who didn't lose one game on the road. So let's do some math here. If you play 5 games, like we had 5 or 6 games where in a row, it was like 5 games in a row that was 0-0. 5 games, something like that. Let's just say, right, that's 5 points. If we lose 3 trying to win the game instead of playing defensive, and we win 2, we still have more points. 6 versus 5. If we win 3 of those games, it's 9. If we win 4, it's 12. We're on 7 points more. Now we're in a title race. But we play. This is one of the problems with our manager. We play many times not to lose. It's not a champion's mentality. It's not playing to win. I know many of you don't know American football, but there was an American football coach, when he was questioned one time about a decision he made at the end of the game, people thought was crazy because they thought he should have tried to go into overtime, but he played to win and he lost. He went off and he said, you play to win the game. You don't play to go into overtime. You play to win. And, you know, like Rich is saying, you know, we need to go a lot more attacking in most games. And the fact is we don't. We play double pivot. So someone's got to explain this to me. I don't understand why we're playing a double pivot. You know, Aston Villa absolutely dominated us in the midfield, and we just don't make changes. You know, even when I know we are limited in the changes we could make because of the injuries or whatnot, but even so, you make a change with 30 or 20 minutes left in the match, not 10. Right? It's just so frustrating, guys. But ultimately, you know, we persist. We're trusting processes around here, and we're just hoping for the best. At the end of the day, no matter if you're ultra ollie in, ultra ollie out, ollied out, whatever, we all want the same thing. I know that a lot of people can't get that through their head. We all want Manchester United to be the best. We all want to be back winning trophies again. And this is, you know, I used to really argue with people, and I got into an argument with someone the other day because he said he wanted us to lose. Because he felt like the more we would lose, the quicker we would get a new manager. Now that's not how I approach things, right, at all. I never want us to lose a match ever because I'm an ultra competitive person like that. But after listening to him describe why he felt that way, I couldn't argue the logic. I was like, okay, I'm not you. I would never want us to lose, and I think it's ridiculous. But you think that the quicker we get rid of our manager, the more we get the best out of this team. So I get why you feel that way. I personally don't agree with it, but I get it, right? And that's the thing, man. We have too many people right now that just blindly bash the club, bash the manager, and want things to go wrong. And then you have people that no matter what Ollie does, it's funny because the more we're in this YouTube scene, you go around and you watch different channels and different people, and you realize that, man, there's a lot of people that are like that, man. They want what they want, and they don't care. they'll bash anyone to get what they want, right? They don't. Their agenda is worth more than what's best for the club. But ultimately, guys, listen. Thanks for jumping in today, Rich, G, Rakani, those that's jumped in. I know it's just a quick stream. I didn't even announce the stream or anything because normally I've just been doing reaction videos. But overall, the match today is just frustrating. And hopefully just talking about the manager a little bit will let people hear more about why people feel the way that they do about the manager, about the situation, because I just, as much as I want to win everything, I don't see us winning anything. I mean, this year I thought we might win the Carabao Cup. And the thing is, things aren't changing as far as like the manager. So being all negative and venomous about the manager isn't going to change anything because one, Old Trafford isn't going to turn on him. And two, he'll always get top four. So the Glazers are fine with that. We are indeed the new Arsenal. And again, at the end of the season, if we finish, third or fourth without a cup, people will say, well, it's because we didn't get a DM. Once we get a DM, we're going to play how Ollie really wants to play. And I've been hearing this for 2 seasons, and it's not good enough. And like I said, some people, they love just blood and thunder and whatever, and we don't play good football. We don't connect passes well. It's frustrating because you got guys like Van de Beek on the bench who, after the performance the other day, you can't tell me he didn't deserve. Now, why would Fred deserve to be in the team over him? He just don't, right? And I've loved Pastor Fred. I'm not against Fred. It's just this year he's been abysmal. But anyway, guys, Manchester United 0, man. Aston Villa 1. You got to be kidding me, man. It's the bad thing is I had to run out of the house today too without changing my kit, and I had to walk down through thousands of fans who were watching, the youth play. My kids had games today in a big park. It has about 30 fields, and so I must have 4 or 5 people today say, "Hey, what happened? Hey!" And I even had one guy. I was like, "Whee!" I was like, "Shut up, bro!" Like just people just bantering us because we're like a banner club right now. Ultimately, guys, though, we have to try to keep it positive. We have to hope we're going to win some stuff this year. Like I said, I personally don't see it happening unless there's ultimately a change. But there won't be a change this year. There won't be a change until the end of the season if there is one. And then maybe we can look at our options and see, what type of manager can come to build on what Ollie has done. Because Ollie's done some great things, but I feel like he's hit a ceiling as a manager. And I feel like he's probably done better at United than he's done anywhere else. He coached at Cardiff, got them relegated. They hate him. Coached at Mold, went into Mold the first run around, won him the league. Then he got sacked because he was terrible. Then he tried to come back and he was terrible again. And a lot of people in Mold hate the guy. And we just picked him up, and he's living a dream. So I don't blame the guy. Just live the dream, man. He's living a dream, and we'll see how it goes. But you cannot convince me we don't have a squad that can win any competition. And the fact that if things don't change, we won't even be competitive again in the Premier League. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. Something has to change. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for jumping in. Like, subscribe, get involved, share the streams, and hopefully we'll get back into streaming more regularly and all that kind of stuff. It's been a hectic over here in the great state of Texas. It's been a big move. Whenever you move, some people in England, it's big whenever you shift or change or move anywhere. But I've driven from Manchester to London, and if I want to remember correctly, it's about 4 hours, something like that. I think it's what it took, somewhere around that, 3.5, 4 hours, give or take. I moved 21 hours, 22 hours from where I'm from. It's been a big adjustment. But guys, anyway, thanks for jumping in, Rich. Take care, man. Hope to see you guys soon. Like, subscribe, get involved, and let's just keep upping the Red Devils, keep supporting the club, keep pushing. But listen, man, call out what needs to be calling out. We need to build pressure on this club to win. And if that means eventually we need to change a manager, we got to make it happen because, guys, I can't keep dealing. I'm too entitled. I can't go another 2 or 3 years with no hardware, no trophies. That's what this club's about. It's about winning trophies. End of. Anyway, catch me on Football Twitter. Catch me on YouTube, guys. I'm out.